Signal number 2 is up in 8 provinces as Typhoon Bising continues to bring strong winds over the eastern section of the country. Pagasa warns of possible flooding in several areas in Bicol and Western Visayas. Eastern Visayas, rather, as the government has enforced preemptive evacuations in at least 5 provinces. Bising maintains its strength overnight. We'll get the latest on the typhoon straight from Pagasa. As Chinese vessels continue to flock to West Philippine Sea, former Supreme Court Justice Antonio Carpio says we might have to wait until 2022 before the government takes stronger action. And in sports, Filipino weightlifter Hidilyn Diaz finally books a ticket to the Tokyo Olympics. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know as you jumpstart your day. I'm Charles Lejano. Starting today's newscast with tropical cyclone warning signals hoisted over several parts of the country due to Typhoon Bising. Signal number 2 is raised over Catanduanes, the eastern sections of Camarines Sur and Albay, as well as the eastern and central portions of Sorsogon. The same goes for northern Samar, eastern Samar, and Biliran. Meanwhile, signal number 1 is up over the eastern portion of Isabela, the southeastern portion of Quezon, including Polillo Islands, Camarines Norte, and the rest of Camarines Sur, Albay, and Sorsogon. Same goes for Masbate, including Burias and Tico Islands, and the provinces of Leyte, southern Leyte, the northern portion of Cebu, as well as the islands of Bantayan, Camotes, Dinagat, Siargao, and Bocas Grande, are also under signal number 1. Pagasa warns of flooding in rivers and general tributaries of various provinces due to Bising. Flooding may occur in Quezon Province as light to moderate rain is expected in the area within the next 12 hours. On the other hand, you can see on your screens the areas that are expected to experience moderate to heavy rainfall today. The impact of Typhoon Bising was felt across different provinces over the weekend. In Samar, local officials in the town of Hiabong went house to house to remind residents to evacuate, especially those living near large trees. This as both rain and winds intensified beginning Sunday morning. Bising also brought strong winds and heavy rain in Catanduanes, particularly in the town of Gigmoto. Bad weather started on Saturday night and further intensified on Sunday morning. Fishermen residing in the coastal town did not dare to set sail, as the typhoon also brought with it raging waves on the sea. Meanwhile, 3 residents of Cabalawan, Tacloban figured in a minor road accident due to inclement weather. While crossing the San Juanico Bridge, this tricycle could not withstand the strong winds, which caused it to topple over on the side of the road. Over in San Vicente, northern Samar, the strong winds persisted all weekend, creating huge waves on the sea. Despite this, no one was injured and no major property damage was reported near the coastline. Finally, in Biliran, flash floods were experienced in some areas like Barangay Santo Niño, Naval. The relentless rain and high tidal waves left several residents scrambling to save their possessions as floodwater entered their homes. Now, to give us the latest on Typhoon Bising, we have joining us on the line Mr. Ariel Rojas from the Pagasa Weather Forecasting Center. Good morning, Ariel. Where is the typhoon currently located, and where is it headed now?
Good morning, Charles. At 4 a.m., the center of the eye of Typhoon Bising was estimated at 250 kilometers east of Virac, Catanduanes. It tracks winds of up to 195 kilometers per hour near its center and with gusts reaching up to 240 kilometers per hour. It is presently moving north-northwestward at a speed of 10 kilometers per hour. It's currently slowing down because it's now making its turn. It will now be moving northward. The reason for this slowdown as well as its northward direction is because on its left and right side are 2 high-pressure systems which are blocking this typhoon. It will be making its way in between these two high-pressure areas where there is the area of least resistance. It will slowly go upward and then make its turn northeastward and may exit the Philippine area of responsibility on Saturday, April 24.
All right, thanks for that report. That was Pagasa weather forecaster Ariel Rojas. Malacanang is reminding people to stay alert, vigilant, and cooperative as Typhoon Bising moves over the Philippine Sea. In a statement, Palace spokesperson Harry Roque said that the DSWD has prepared standby funds of about 556 million pesos, as well as food packs worth over 188 million pesos for affected citizens. Roque added that the DOH has dedicated teams looking into the impact of disasters in relation to the COVID-19 protocol. The agency has also secured medicine and other COVID-19 supplies for regional offices. The official also said that the AFP has been tasked to assist the NDRRMC for preemptive evacuations and other relevant operations. This as preemptive evacuation has been carried out in Camarines Sur, Catanduanes, Sorsogon, and northern and eastern Samar. Supreme Court Justice Antonio Carpio, the Philippines can preserve its economic relations with China while still protecting its sovereign rights. But the retired magistrate says we might have to wait until Duterte's administration comes to an end in 2022. More of this on Bloomberg Markets Asia.
Associate Justice Antonio Carpio. Justice, good to have you with us. I'm just wondering, what's your own reading of the situation in the South China Sea? I mean, some say that the little fishing boats are just lining up.
Well, this is part of the strategy of China to take possession of the maritime zones in the West Philippine Sea and all over the South China Sea within the 9-dash line. So their massive presence in Hidilyn Philippine Reef and in other areas is a prelude to their building in the future military installations in these selected areas. In the case of Hidilyn Philippine Reef, it's very close to Mischief Reef, which is their biggest air and naval base in the Spratlys. So it's only 50 nautical miles from Mischief Reef. So they need to put up a military installation on Hidilyn Philippine Reef to protect their air and naval base in the Mischief Reef.
How far is the Philippines prepared to go to defend its sovereignty? We know that the Philippines has sent jets to patrol the area, and some say that's a pretty risky move.
Well, we will defend our sovereignty and sovereign rights to the extent that we can in accordance with international law and our treaty alliances. We have a treaty with the U.S., Mutual Defense Treaty, and we will invoke that treaty when the time arises, when the need arises.
There have been some floundering attempts at working together with these other countries who were given this arbitral award. How can you make a more concrete and more concerted effort to leverage pressure on China?
Well, unfortunately, our president is not doing that, but we are waiting for the next administration. We can easily first join the freedom of navigation operations of the U.S. Second, conduct joint patrols with the U.S. in the West Philippine Sea. Third, conduct joint patrols with Malaysia and Vietnam on each other's EEZ so that we'll be telling China, the three countries, Vietnam, Malaysia, and the Philippines, will be telling China, we have our own EEZ in the South China Sea, and your 9-dash line cannot take that away from us. But we will do that in the next administration after May 2022.
The Philippine College of Jury Consults also expressed their objection to the presence of Chinese vessels in the Philippines' exclusive economic zone and continental shelf. A group of revered law scholars, law deans, and constitutional law experts said that the last thing the country needs as it grapples with the pandemic is a serious threat to peace. In a statement, the group said there's nothing peaceful about the presence of Chinese vessels in an area already declared by customary law and arbitral judgment to be exclusively owned by the Philippines. They said China's, quote, provocative acts in the West Philippine Sea constitutes a direct attack on the rights of Filipino people. Despite Beijing's refusal to recognize the jurisdiction of international courts, the group of law experts said China is nevertheless bound by arbitral rulings made pursuant to the UNCLOS, which China is a party to. The Philippine College of Jury Consults therefore joins other states in demanding that China abide by the arbitral judgment that declared the Middle Kingdom without any right to be in Philippine territories and EEZs like the Julian Felipe Reef. On now to sports, as Filipino weightlifter Hidilyn Diaz has officially secured her spot in the Tokyo Olympics. Diaz finally booked her ticket to Tokyo after stepping to the mat at the Asian weightlifting qualifiers in Uzbekistan. This will be Diaz's fourth Olympics after competing in Beijing in 2008, London in 2012, and Rio in 2016. The weightlifter is now the country's seventh Olympics qualifier, along with boxers Yumir Marshall, Arish Magno, Nesty Petesio, and Carlo Paalam, as well as world champion gymnast Carlos Yulo, and pole vaulter EJ Obiena. And that's how the day is shaping up to be. Join us again later at 10 a.m. as we monitor the day's biggest stories from sunrise to sundown. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Just register for a free account at www.signalplay.com so you can stream One News live anytime and anywhere. I'm Charles Lejano. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We're One News.